What's up? This is David, and today I want to talk to you about why J.K. Rowling will beat you in email marketing, and it is kind of obvious, but I'll explain in a minute. Why personal brand is the waterfall, the top of the waterfall that produces the stream, so it's the top of the stream, and how to attract coaching clients with feel-good marketing. So today is all about personal brand for your coaching business. Okay, so let's get into this. So let's first start off by talking about brand. Like, what is brand, right? I really think about this because a brand, all that it is, a brand lives in the mind. A brand lives in the mind. So when we think about a brand, we think about like these high numbers, right? But that's not what a brand is. Like, you don't have to have like a bazillion followers to establish yourself as a brand. Like, brand is just reputation. That's pretty much what it is. Reputation at scale, right? That's what brand is. So the thing is this, because we have the digital world now, like, we can create, I just like to call it shadow versions of ourselves. So we can like create digital versions of ourselves, right? And so we can like scale ourselves, right? Because we're not using the laws of physics anymore. We're using the laws of digital, where we have so much more leverage, and we can, again, like scale our digital self, scale our expertise, and we can market that way. We can market our services with the laws of digital, and we can create brand that way, right? So a brand, again, like lives in the mind of a person, okay? So you don't have to have a big following, no big following required. It can be tiny yet mighty, because I know, like, people with like, I don't know, they might have like 1 million followers, right? And on surface level, they should have a brand, right? They should have a reputation, but they are broke. They can't make any money with their audience because their audience is filled with just entertainment watchers who will never become a buyer, right? But on the contrary, I know people with like freaking like, I don't know, less than 100 freaking subscribers who are just crushing it, and they get clients because they are helping the right person. Right? So like, again, a brand lives in your mind. If you are so freaking helpful to somebody, and if you're like, not even on the surface, like maybe if you're like sending like a lot of like helpful content through emails, and you send it again and again, then it conjures up an image in that person's mind that, oh my God, this person is amazing. This person is genius. Like, why doesn't he or she have like 1 million followers, right? So that's how a brand gets established, and it can be tiny yet mighty. Okay, so in fact, I know people who have like no social followers at all. Like, they don't even have social media, and yet they are, you know, crushing it because they are just, you know, they are that helpful to their clients. All right, so it's a limiting belief, dude. Like, the whole like, you know, you think you have to have like this big following or whatever. It's a limiting belief because, like, just imagine yourself this way, right? Just point the mirror back at yourself. Point the finger at yourself. How do you follow somebody? Is it necessarily because they have like 2 million followers? No, not really, right? It's like you follow somebody because like their content is great. Their content is good. And then you maybe like you subscribe to their emails, and then you receive these emails and they're freaking good. They're like, oh my God, this guy's freaking genius, right? It isn't about the following at all. It's about the content, right? And good content is good content, whether you have 1 million followers or whether you have 10 followers. Good content is good content, okay? And good content is good content regardless of size, right? Regardless of size. So again, like, we don't want to go viral. Like, even like, think about that word, viral. Like, doesn't it comes from the word virus, right? It comes from the word virus, and it's like, it's a negative thing. It's like you're duplicating this bad thing. So for us, it's like, may not be the best thing if we go viral, because like we're replicating, like, it has a negative connotation to that word virus, right? So what I like to call it is, I like to call it like antidote. Like, you're providing medicine, you're providing antidote with somebody with a problem, right? So you're providing antidote content. So just imagine this. Just imagine like somebody got bit by a snake, right? And then you have the freaking antidote, right? And then you want to like talk to this person with this specific problem because you have the solution, right? So we're kind of like doing it that way. We're like, pinpointing our messaging so that we can target this person. Hey, I have a snake bite. I need help. Hey, I actually have the antidote. Like, I have the antidote for you. Like, come over here, right? So we're kind of like framing it that way, right? I like to call it antidote content. So it's more like sniper than shotgun. Right? We're not like freaking like trying to hit everything. We're like trying to like hone in on like a specific target. So yeah, I like to call it antidote content. Okay, we're providing solutions to people's problems. Okay, and this is how like branding can look like, and this is how kind of like how branding can start. Okay, so let's pretend that you produce like 10 helpful videos. So let's pretend like you produce like this video, or it doesn't have to be video. It could be like emails, right? And then this was like super helpful. Okay, this was like super helpful, and people were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing content." And then you produce another one. They're like, "Oh my God, this is freaking amazing content." And then you produce another one, and then people are like, "Oh my God, this is amazing content." Well, now it's like, it's not just the content anymore. It's the content creator. So you take on an identity, right? You take on this identity that you create good, helpful content, right? So that becomes brand, right? That becomes reputation. And if you keep doing that again and again, right, you take on that identity as you conjure up that image inside of their mind. And so it becomes part of your identity. And that's brand, my friend. Like, that's brand. That's brand association. Okay, so that's how you can do it, right? So think about this. Like, think about the luxury brands of the world. So even when I say that, like luxury brand, what images that pops up in your mind? It's like the LVs of the world, the Gucci's of the world, the Hermeses of the world, right? Like Ferraris or like Lambos, right? That we have an association to that word luxury or premium brand, right? And we could do the same thing in a micro way with our audience, okay? But let's do the opposite. What happens when I say, like, think about like cheap brands? What image comes to your mind? Maybe it's what I think of when I did this is, hey, I think of like Walmart, I think like Target, cheaper brands, because they have made that association inside of their audience. And there's a market for everybody, right? There's a market for everybody. But what I choose to target is, more of a premium, content creator type of person, rather than just coming out with like 100 different crappy pieces of content. And it's like, at that point, it's like, maybe AI slop is better than my content, you know what I mean? So anyways, so you don't need like 1 million followers, to make this work. Again, the brand is in the mind. Brand is in the mind, okay? So why is this important? So I'll get to this. So this is kind of going against like direct response marketing. And the thing is, like, I love direct response marketing. Like, I'm a student of marketing. I'm a student of psychology. I'm big fans of, the OGs like David Ogilvy's, the Claude Hopkins of the world. And even in the digital space, like the Dan Kennedys, John Carltons, Frank Kerns of the world, I'm, student of the game, right? Student of marketing. But the thing is, there's something like direct response you can't really explain. It's like some of these things are non-tangible. Like a brand, like a good reputation with a brand, it's hard to put a number on, right? It's like not tangible, right? So there's these like non-tangible things that even direct response, we can't really track. So I'll give you an example of this, right? So let's pretend this. Let's pretend that we have J.K. Rowling here, okay, versus the best email marketer in the world, okay? And they have the same headline. And let's pretend like we're sending emails here. So they have the same headline, the same exact content, same headline, same exact content. But guess what? Who's gonna get more open rates? Like, who's gonna get more open? Like, this is like JK's emails are gonna be insane, right? Right? They're gonna be like freaking like 92% open rates and shit. And for like every email is gonna be like 92, 94% open rates, right? And for, I don't know, even with like the same headline, even if again, like the same good content, the marketer maybe will be less because they don't have that brand, because the from name is super important. So that was just an example, right? It's hard to put a number, like to track like brand, but it's just as real. Like this, just as real. Because if JK put out an email, she'll get freaking like 95% open rates versus like a typical marketer, maybe like 50%, right? So that difference is brand. Okay, that's the difference there. Okay, again, like it's hard to put a number on it. It's like so like non-tangible thing, but it's just as real as the numbers. So yes, it's hard to track and add a number, but it's fucking real. Okay. So the thing about brand and personal brand for your coaching business is it raises all boats, right? Think about it. It raises all boats. Like the JK example is like all of our emails are gonna have high open rates because she has established herself as a freaking amazing writer, right? Because of her reputation, it raises all of our boats. It raises all of our open rates, right? It raises all of our click-through rates and our sales and everything. So it raises all boats. So, and again, you don't have to have a big following. You can just do that by providing like good content and continuing to provide good content, because when you do that, you establish, again, brand, and brand is in the mind. And then when you do that, they see the from name and they see that, oh my God, this guy, he produces great content. Let me open the email, right? And the open rates will go up, right? So it raises all boats. So the brand follows you, by the way. The brand follows you. And this is one of the biggest regrets that I had. It was not creating a personal brand a long, long time ago, right? So I've been in this journey for 17 years now. And God, I wish I started a brand right from the beginning, right? But now, because of my big regret, I am definitely, creating a personal brand now, because I'm like learning from my mistake, right? So please learn from my mistake. Like learn from one of my biggest regrets is not creating a personal brand. So start now. Okay, start creating your personal brand now. Because the thing is, like, the brand follows you. The brand follows you wherever you go. So let's take an example of like Alex Hormozi. This is Alex Hormozi here, okay? And let's say Alex over here, like if he came out with like a restaurant, a chain of restaurants, let's say he's getting into the restaurant business, right? Even if he does that and he does like a total like 180 degrees, a lot of people will still follow him because they trust him, because he has built up that reputation from before. It's like, oh my God, Alex is opening up a restaurant. Hell yeah, let's go there, right? So the brand follows you, okay? Even if it's like a totally different thing that you're like, you're launching. Yeah, you might lose some people of the audience, but a lot of times, especially if you did it right, and especially if you build trust, then people will just follow you wherever you go, okay? This is, again, why I should have started a freaking personal brand like a long, long time ago, right? So remember when we all know Casey Neistat. So the brand follows you because remember when he released an app? He released an app and it was kind of related, kind of. But the thing is, like, and this is just my opinion. I love you, Casey. But in my opinion, he was way, way, way better at being a vlogger and filmmaking than he was at creating an app. Okay, let's just say that, okay? And to me, the app was like, it was okay, but it wasn't like his gift to the world, I believe. But even so, people follow him, right? People follow him because he had the brand, again. And I believe like the app sold for like $36 million or something, right? All because he had established a brand and people followed him wherever he went, okay? Of course, MrBeast has a brand, a big brand, and that's why he can come out with freaking burgers and like chocolate and like release, I don't know, he can probably release like anything and then it'll probably sell because the brand follows him and people follow him as well. And the thing is, Sometimes you might lose a few people, because I know like a guy I was following, he did like a total shift, and then he kind of like went into like the AI stuff. And then I didn't really vibe with that, I didn't really resonate with that. I mean, it's like, yeah, cool, bro, like do you, right? If you want to get into the AI stuff. So you can lose a few people, but then other people will still follow, right? It depends like what you're shifting into. If it's like totally out there, if it's like you go from like marketing to like selling cat products, who knows, right? So I'm just saying you can lose a few people, but you got to stay true to you, right? So the brand is a waterfall. Brand is a waterfall, and it's the top of stream, dude. It is like absolute top of stream. Okay, top of everything is like downstream from brand. So I'll give you a visual example here. So we have brand, and brand helps with the marketing, like I showed you, like the freaking email open rate with J.K. Rowling example, right? It helps with the marketing because it raises all boats, right? And then when you do marketing well, sales is oftentimes unnecessary, and you can just get rid of your sales team and just sell with Google Docs instead. So the thing is, how do we get brand and how do we establish brand? We got to start with marketing, because we got to start somewhere, right? So it starts with good marketing. Like I said, like I gave you that example before, good marketing starts with good content, right? Good marketing starts with good content, and marketing pretty much, demonstration is pretty much marketing, right? You're demonstrating your content, your services to the world, and then that's where it starts, right? And if you want to learn more about like, demonstrating your coaching services and establishing more of a marketing base for your coaching business, and I have another video on like demonstration. You can watch here or watch here, wherever it is. So you can go ahead and watch that. But brand, it may be one of the biggest assets they have. So let me go back to this example actually. So it starts with marketing, right? But then it feeds into itself. Marketing feeds the brand gets stronger, it feeds into the marketing, and it becomes a flywheel, it becomes a positive flywheel. It feeds into itself, and then when we establish this flywheel, sales is pretty much unnecessary when you do it this way, okay? So brand may be one of the biggest assets that you have. Okay, so think about it like this, right? So Nike, they are a freaking sports company, right? Sportswear company. Like, you may argue that the biggest asset they have is their brand name, right? You can take away all their shoes, all their freaking clothes. You can take all the physical stuff away. But even when you take it away, they can start tomorrow and start new, and people will buy their stuff because they are Nike, because they have established brand. Again, it's one of those non-tangible things, right? It's like, it's hard to track. It's like it's not direct response marketing, but it's just as real, dude. It's just as real. Because I believe like one of the biggest assets that Nike has is their brand name, man. People just follow them. People are like loyal fans, and they will buy their products even if every single, physical product of theirs disappears tomorrow. People will still buy it when they launch their new thing, right? So that is why brand is super, super important. So the main takeaways. So pinpoint, create helpful, good content, okay, and create it again and again, and provide that to your ideal client, right? And solving a specific problem helps, by the way, right? And so we are providing quality content. We are providing like medicine. We're providing antidote content, not necessarily to go viral. And when you create this content, add personality. Like, don't make it freaking viral, or not. Yes, don't make it viral. I guess don't make it vanilla, right? Don't make it vanilla. Like, add some flavor to it, right? And put some energy behind it, right? Put some energy behind the content. That way people will associate, good quality content with you. And like the saying goes, I believe this is Leo Burnett, he said this, copy is stored energy. Copy is stored energy. So unleash that energy, right? Unleash some energy into your content and create dangerous, sexy content in your own way that feels good with you. Okay, it feels good with you because when you feel good, you transfer that to your audience. Okay, it's called the law of state transference, mirror neurons. When you feel good in your content, you'll transfer that to your audience, and the audience will feel good. And again, in their mind, they'll establish good quality content and associate that with you. And number 4 is what phrase or word do you want to be associated with? Right? Think of a phrase or a word that you want to be associated with and you and your brand want to be associated with. So think about like Casey. Like what word or phrase comes to mind when you think about Casey Neistat? I think vlogger, right? I think vlogger, like he's one of the OG vloggers in the space, right? What about Alex? I think of $100 million offers, right? He has a ton of content that's just around that concept, $100 million offer or $100 million, right? So that's what I think of. So we want to own that word, right? Own that word. And again, I emphasize this again and again, but not viral, being specific, okay? So fill in this phrase. Like, what are you the go-to guy or gal of? You are the go-to guy or gal for blank, right? Fill in that word, fill in that space. And I'll leave like a worksheet, like a freaking lesson guide to this afterwards. And I'll show you how you can get that afterwards. But you are the go-to guy for blank, right? What blank is that? So I'll give you an example of mine. So mine is like, I want to be known for, feel-good marketing for coaches, right? I just like to call this model open world marketing. And I want to be associated with that word, right? Or removing sales calls, because I talk about it again and again on like removing sales calls and embracing good marketing, right? Removing sales calls and selling with Google Docs instead. I want to be associated with that. And I also want to be associated with like world building, like the lifestyle coaching business, right? And world building is my community, right? And that I want to be associated with that word. So what's a word or phrase that you can think of that you want to be associated with, right? So if you comment with the word personal brand coaching, I'll send you a link to the lesson guide that I have for this video and this lesson. And the lesson guide is inside of my free school community. So not only do you get the lesson guide, you also get a free community and a free course that goes along with it, and a bunch of other free resources as well. So you can comment with the word personal brand coaching, and I'll send that link down below. And if you got some value out of this video, I would appreciate a like. And if you are an established coach, because I'm targeting my specific audience, if you're an established online coach, and you want to learn more about this marketing-based stuff for your coaching business, then you can also subscribe for more content like this. And I also leave like another video that you can watch that's, I believe, is helpful for your coaching business over here. So that's what I have for this video. Hope you got some value out of it, and I'll see you in the next one.